So as we take ourselves down to the floor, I want us to begin in Shavasana, Shavasana being corpse pose. We lay flat on our backs, allowing our hips to relax down on the ground, our legs to fall open, with our feet turning out to the side slightly, really relaxing across the pelvis. As we do so, noticing right from the very base of our spine, all the way up through the belly button, chest bone, and across the shoulders, that we're relaxing the shoulders down into the floor. The hips are feeling level across left and right sides, and that we're feeling very neutral. So this is our normal straight, whatever's normal to our body, whether that means that there's a little bit of a space between the floor and the mat, maybe that's normal for you, or if there's a little bit of contact with your back and the ground, I want you to figure out what feels very comfortable today. Notice if we're twisting or if we're tilting. And then as we relax our arms down by our sides, just noticing all the weight, all the stress, all that negative energy melt into the floor. Yoga is such a safe space. We don't encourage any competition. We're not encouraging any sort of judgment. That's about what yoga's supposed to be or what you think it's supposed to look like. In this space, I want us all to think about our own body, and I want you to listen to the body. Listen to what feels good. More importantly, listen to what it needs. And that can be our intention. So in today's class, let's just remember what we want out of our practice. So why do we do yoga? What do we want out of it today? Is it that we just want to stretch our muscles? Is it just to take a time out from the rest of our busy schedule and wind down, calm down? Maybe we're realizing that we're feeling anxious or stressed, and we know we need to focus a little bit on our breathing. What I'd like everybody to do is take a few really nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Feeling the rib cage expand. Noticing with every exhale, a little bit more of that negative energy just melting into the ground. Even imagine yourself actually filling up with air. Imagine what that looks like inside, whether it's a color. And then when you breathe out, imagine what that looks like too, whether it's melting like lava into the floor, or if you're breathing it out, imagine that color that's coming out. Sometimes that imagery is so powerful, it really can change the entire practice, the effectiveness that it has. I want us to think about that. Now while we're here, go ahead and reach those arms nice and long up above the head and reach them on the floor, pulling the arms as far away from the feet as they'll go. Filling our ribcage up with more air. And then when we relax, feel the whole body melt. We'll do this one more time. Now stretching the shoulders a little bit, go ahead and everyone using your right hand, grab onto the left wrist and pull that left arm a little bit longer. So we feel the stretch all the way down that left side, just a little bit. The movement's not very big. And then we'll use the left hand and hold the right arm right around the wrist area and pull that right arm a little bit longer. We're just focusing on stretching all the way down that right side. Releasing through the middle, relax the arms, gather our knees into our chest, holding the shins or behind the knees on the thighs and rock side to side. Again, this is where we start listening to our body. Are we feeling any knots in our lower backs? Does this feel like a nice back massage? Are we feeling any pinching in the front of our hips through the hip flexors? The This is when we can start to learn how our week or how our days recently have been affecting our body. Holding on to our knees, give them a little squeeze here as we roll our ankles. In yoga, we really like to pay attention to our circulation. That's our blood flow, the blood flowing all throughout our body, coming all the way down to these little toes. So rolling our ankles, just telling the brain that we want lots of good blood flow all the way down to the toes. Keeping a hold of our right knee, give it a squeeze as we lower our left leg to the ground. Warming up across the hips, we open the right knee towards the right shoulder. Now, really paying attention to our legs here, I want us to press that left leg into the ground. Notice the stretch we're feeling across the right hip. Today's focus is on shoulders and hips. As we listen to the body, I want us to learn about our range of motion. So now we bring our knee across the body towards the left shoulder, and we pay attention to the right outer hip. What does that feel like as we're holding this stretch? Does it feel like it's pulling? Do we feel lots of sensation? Are we feeling a stretch? And then we draw the knee in through the middle and we relax the leg to the ground. From neutral, maybe we have to wiggle back into position. We draw the left knee into the chest, give it a squeeze, and then stretching open, we draw the knee towards our left shoulder, firmly pressing the right leg into the mat as we open across the left hip. What I want us to notice now is, are we twisting through the chest and shoulders? Is the back part of our head still flat on the floor and nose to the ceiling? Are we still finding our collarbones wide? Drawing the knee across towards the right shoulder now, we change the stretch. This for me is a lot different from my right side. I'm noticing already that I can't move my left leg as far as my right leg was because it's pinching. So I'm going to hold it here and breathe into this left hip. That's something that's really cool about yoga, is taking the time to learn something about our body, how we're working, how it functions. Draw the knee back into the middle and relaxing down. Very good. Bringing the feet both onto the floor now. Bending our knees about 45 degrees, so bringing the heels a little bit closer towards the body with our arms down on the ground. Rolling the shoulders into the mat, making sure the nose is turning up towards the ceiling again for glute ridges. Pressing down through all 10 toes, the heels of the hands, the heels of the feet. We inhale, lift the hips up to the ceiling. And exhale, slowly roll down. Inhale, lift the hips up. We want to activate our glutes. Tell them that they have to work. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. This is going to help stretch through the front of the hips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Imagine a little ball. Exhale, lower in between your knees. So we want to keep that space. Inhale, lift. Exhale, we have one more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Really imagining the hips now as they stretch and pull. We're going to bring the right foot across the left knee into a figure four. Figure four, we're crossing the ankle over top of the thigh, pushing the right knee open. Now, if this feels amazing, which it feels amazing for me, so I'm going to stay here, but I'll demonstrate the next level. We can thread the hands underneath the left knee, picking the foot up off the floor. I'll turn my body so that you can see both views. Crossing the right foot over the left knee, you can push that right knee away or thread the hands under, picking the foot up. Feel free as we hold the figure four position to either press the knee or maybe just hands on the belly and relax. If the intention was to focus on our breathing and calm down, maybe this is where we need to be. If it was for stretching, flexibility goals, we're going to try to scoop the hands under and maybe even use that right elbow and press the knee a little bit farther away. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, relax. Very nice. Doing the other side, we bring the left foot over the right knee. We can stay here. Notice, first of all, if you've twisted or tilted. We want to keep both hips and shoulders flat on our mat. Using our left hand, maybe we just press the knee open. Maybe we need more, so we take both hands under and around the right thigh, relax that right foot, try not to hold tension. And then the last key is that left elbow, we can use to press the knee open. So on this side, I'm finding that I'm really enjoying this tighter position, scooping my hands under. If you'd like to stay back in the figure four with the foot on the floor, you can press the knee or just hold the hands. Again, I'll show it from the front view for anyone who wants another angle. With the left foot across, you can use your left hand or scoop the hands through the basket around the right leg and use the elbow to press the knee open. One more big inhale. Exhale, relax. Good, now from here, we're going to open the hips into a butterfly. So with our feet staying together, go ahead and let the legs fall wide. You can keep your hands on your thighs or onto the belly. And I want us to take a few really nice deep breaths here as those hips completely open and relax. Big breaths. Fill that space under the rib cage up with so much air. Imagine the color. And exhale out all of the waste, the negative energy, the carbon dioxide. Hands come on the outside of the knees. We help the knees in together. Very nice. From here, I want us just to roll over onto our sides as we pick ourselves up. We're going to move onto our hands and knees in our tabletop position. Placing the hands directly beneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers out wide, knees come right underneath the hips, and we work with our feet flat, trying not to crunch them or curl them, so that we're also able to stretch those shins and the tops of the ankles. Now, the first thing I need us all to do is ensure that we're drawing our bellies up. Our shoulders, where are they? Are they sinking? Are they flat? Or are they too pressed? Finding that space and then watching our elbows too, that we're not locking them, but they're neutral and soft. All of these things really play into how effective our stretches are. So this is just the posturing that we're working on, keeping our body protected as we find our cows and cats. Go ahead and take our forehead and lift it high. Big inhale, breathe into cow. Now exhale, take your tailbone, tuck it under, draw the bellies in, and tuck your chin up to cat. Do it again. Inhale, untuck the tailbone, open the chest, lift the head high. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the bellies in, round the shoulders, tuck the chin. Inhale, open up to cow. Exhale, round up to cat. One more time. Inhale, open up to cow. Exhale, round up to cat. Finding neutral tabletop. Still aware of our strong abdominal muscles. We're going to take ourselves into child's pose. We sit back through the hips, extend the arms long, push the hands into the floor as we relax the forehead. Now in child's pose, some of us are going to have our foreheads actually touching the floor, and some of us might be quite high. So feel free to, again, not have any expectation of what the pose is supposed to look like. Listen to the body, figure out what feels good. So from child's pose, I'd like us to stretch through our shoulders, walking our hands all the way over to the right. Place our left hand on top of right, and then pull back into the left hip. We're going to be stretching all down that left shoulder. Go ahead and walk the hands all the way over to the left. Placing the right hand on top, and then sit back into the right hip. This way we're stretching all down past the right shoulder. Feels amazing as we just breathe into that right arm. Coming back through the middle, I want us to reach up into tabletop. From tabletop, we're focusing next with our shoulder stretches in thread the needle. So we can take our right arm, reach it as high as possible up to the sky, And then thread that all the way underneath your left shoulder. Moving into the right arm, we can extend the left arm overhead. And I'll do this from the front too, in case anyone needs another angle. So it's that right arm, threading all the way under, and then we can extend that left arm overhead. Trying to keep your legs neutral, tailbone lifting high to the sky. Notice the stretch through that right shoulder. And we can rise up in through tabletop to repeat to the other side. Inhale, lift the left arm high. Exhale, reach all the way underneath that right shoulder. And again, that top arm can be extended forward. I'll do this from the side as well in case anyone needs that extra look. Left arm high, underneath right arm, extending right arm forward. Feels so nice stretching through that tired upper back. Coming through the middle, tabletop position, and pressing back into child's pose again. I already feel the space between my shoulder blades. I can feel it giving me a little bit more room now. So learning again how to stretch, how to hold the poses in order to give our joints a little bit more space, creating lots of loose muscles. Now from here, we're going to rise up through tabletop and prepare for runner's lunge. From here, right foot sweeps up in between our hands, line the knee above the ankle, lift up onto the thigh. We want to make sure we're in a really good position. So we check that, wiggle our toes. That makes sure that we're right on our heel and that we're not accidentally understepping ourselves. We don't want to hurt our knees. Knee above ankle, shoulder roll down, abs in tight, big inhale, lift up, and then taking our shoulders and relax them. So I'm going to show this from the front for anyone who needs it. That right foot's forward, knee above the ankle, our arms are up. I want to add a stretch in here for the shoulder. We bend at the left elbow. So we can do this by holding the left elbow with our right hand, keeping the chin lifted off the chest. What we can also do, if I turn around to the back so you can see, if we've got that left elbow bent, you can interlace your fingers in the back and hold it this way. This is called bound. Bound is in binding a knot. You're tying your hands together for tricep stretch. Okay. What I'd like us to do next is take our hands to our hips, straighten out that front leg. So we lift the toes up off the ground, keep the chest, the center of our body, over top of the center of our leg, reaching now just a little bit, angle it over the center of your right knee. Hinge at your hips. Oh my goodness, that's as far as I'm going today. I already feel the pull up the back of my hamstring. Now, if anyone's getting lower, feel free to take your hands on that free left thigh or down towards the ground. What we're doing when we're stretching this right leg is trying to keep our back flat. If you can keep your back flat as you extend forward and feel a really good stretch here, that's fine. Otherwise, just keep your hands on your hips. Now we're going to play with the position of the front foot like a gas pedal. Point the foot and then release. Bring the foot up. Point the foot and bring it up. Now play with that on your own time. Which position do you prefer? Pointed or flexed? It's going to change where you feel the stretch a little bit. On this next point, I want us to bend the knee forward. We're coming into lizard. Lizard from our runner's lunge is going to bring both hands to the inside of the foot, and we walk that foot out a little bit wider, lining our arm and shin up. This is the side angle. Let me show it from the front. With that right foot forward, we were in our runner's lunge, correct? So I'm just taking both hands to the inside, so they're both on the left of the front leg. Heel toe that foot out a little bit wider, so we're a little bit broader in our stance. We're comfortable with our hands right underneath our shoulders. Shin and forearm are lined up, so they're perpendicular to the floor. Staying here might be really intense and we're feeling an inner thigh stretch. If anybody needs more, you go down onto your elbows. Now, right away, if you came onto your elbow and that front leg went way outside or fell in, or for whatever reason, maybe we're bending it way too crazy, I want you to back off, restart, come back into the position with your hands on the ground, leaving the shin and arm perpendicular to the floor. Otherwise, as I mentioned, you can have arms down, elbows. Nice inner thigh stretch. Now let's lift ourselves back up, sweep that knee behind, and press back into child's pose. And take a few deep breaths. Before we repeat the other side, we're going to come into Cobra. We move forward through modified plank, hover our way, slow chaturanga all the way to the floor, and then lift up into baby cobra. Just a little bit. So in baby cobra, you should be able to take your hands off the ground. And then press back into child's pose. Very good. All right, this time as we come forward into runner's lunge, I want you to bring left foot so that the knee is right on top of the ankle. Lifting up, you know it's in a good position because you can wiggle. All right, now as we stand really nice and tall, go ahead and reach those arms up. Reach them tall, reach them long. Now the tricep stretch. You can bend your right arm, holding the elbow. Keep the chin off the chest, the neck long. This will help this arm get even more of a stretch. Only holding it if that feels good. If you prefer to keep it down, that's fine. The bound option, if I turn, we've got that left foot forward now. So we would bend at the right elbow. Bound or binding by holding the hands in the back. That's an option for anyone who has that flexibility. Right? Some of us just aren't built to do that. Listen to the body from this bound tricep stretch, feeling the hip flexor. I want you to take yourself, hands to hips, reach the legs straight. Now start to hinge forward over the hamstring. Again, I'm feeling a lot of sensation behind the knee, a lot of intensity on this left side. So I today have an imbalance from left to right. So my positioning looks different. I could come down low with my hands like I did on the right leg, but it doesn't feel as good for me. So that's me listening to my body and then staying up higher. If you need to do the same, please feel free. Listen to the body. Good. Now, as you're holding your stretch, we're feeling it all the way, maybe behind the knee, maybe more in the calf, maybe up higher towards the hips. We're going to start playing with the gas pedal. Pointing and flexing. Do that a couple of times. Pay attention to what I like to refer to as our sweet spot. So when you angle your foot a certain way, you feel an amazing stretch, and that's going to be your sweet spot today. That's where your body needs the attention, just a little bit more. So for me, it's a little bit higher, so I need to point my foot just a bit to feel that. Now let's get ready for lizard. So we point the foot, bend the knee, bring the hands down to the floor. Preparing for lizard, we bring both hands on the inside of the leg. We heel toe the foot wide, coming down into a low lunge. I'm going to show that from the front, just in case anyone needs that. We've got runner's lunge with the left foot forward, hands were on either side. We've brought our hands to the right to heel toe the foot out wide, lining the hands right underneath the shoulders, always stacking with good base of support. Putting the shin and forearm so that they're running parallel, and then they're perpendicular with the floor. Now, if you need more, feel free to come down onto your elbows, as long as your back can stay relatively flat and your knee stays above the ankle. Otherwise, we can stay up on the hands. Couple more breaths here. Pay attention to the stretch. Listen to the body. Are you focusing? Are you staying mindful? Are you staying present? If you're finding yourself getting distracted, thinking again about the color of your breath, That can be really powerful. Now slowly, let's release that stretch, coming onto the hands if we were low. Knees come back. We press back into child's pose. Are we getting any lower? Smaller? Maybe we're feeling longer. From child's pose, we're going to take that cobra flow again. As we inhale forward into modified plank, staying on hands and knees, we exhale slow lower. This is chaturanga. Slowly lower the body to the floor. Coming into baby or full cobra this time. As we lift up, I need a bigger stretch, so I'm going to extend. What I don't want is shoulders collapsing into ears. We draw the shoulders down, lift our hips up, lift our neck long with our head coming up out of the shoulders. Good, and then actually just lowering ourselves completely onto our stomach. From our stomach, we're going to take our hands directly beneath our shoulders, nose to the floor. Taking our bow stretch, we're doing one leg at a time in half bow today. Grabbing the right ankle, we hold with the right hand, leaving the knee pretty close to the left knee. So what we don't want to have happen is the leg coming out beyond our body's frame. Picturing your frame like a box. So your body's box, we don't want the leg to break the box and come out of the boundary lines. Pressing through the right foot into the right hand, pressing down with the left hand into the floor. We lift our body up. Doesn't have to be very big. We press the right foot against the right hand. There's a little bit of tension. Roll that right shoulder all the way back. Get a nice stretch through the chest. Keep pressing down through your right hip bone and your left hand to help lift the chest up. What I don't want is any twisting. Try to keep the center of your body facing the center of the floor in the center of your mat. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, relax. Good, we have to do the other side. So we grab the left foot now with the left hand. Again, just check your body's frame. The foot hasn't wandered. If so, just bring it back. No harm, no foul. Draw those shoulders together. Press down through the right hand as we press the left foot against the left hand, opening up across the chest and shoulders. Allow the arm to stretch long, an amazing chest stretch as we stretch the front of the thigh. Press that hip down. Try not to twist or turn. We want the stretch to be really effective. So we have to keep our body square in those neutral lines. This is intense for me on this side. Breathing into it. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, relax. Cobra stretch. Go ahead and lift ourselves up really nice and tall. Okay. From here, go ahead and press back into child's pose. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling lots of extra length in my lower back. The really nice thing about yoga is that we spend so much time on extending and lengthening and giving space that we do actually get a little bit taller. Go ahead and curl the toes, lift the hips up nice and high into downward facing dog. So as we hold down dog, looking back at our feet, they should be about a running shoe distance apart from one another. And then pedaling the feet, right to left foot, toe to heel. We can press the foot down. Playing with massaging our feet, our toes, and then I want both heels pressing down as far as they'll go. See with your tailbone reaching up really nice and high towards the sky. And as we press away from our hands, we're looking back at our feet. We're pulling our necks long. Go ahead and shake the head no. And then nod the head yes. Relaxing through the muscles in the neck. Okay, let's walk our feet all the way up between our hands. Coming halfway up to monkey. Draw the shoulders together. Flatten out our backs. Draw the bellies in. Imagining that pot of tea balancing on our backs. If our shoulders were left kind of hunchy and bunchy, pull the shoulder blades together. Activate those postural muscles. Nice long necks. Ears in line with the shoulders and hips. Now we're going to come into another stretch. So I'm going to face forward, a little twisting action here. As we take our right hand towards our left leg, you're gonna bend the right knee lots and lots and lots, letting that left hand reach up to the ceiling. Some of us are going to keep our right hand on the straight left leg, and some of us can bring it to the floor. So it's left leg straight, right knee bent, and then look up over that left leg. Just a twist and forward fold. Feels really nice on the outside of the hip through those abductor muscles. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release. And as we do so, bend that left knee, straightening out the right leg. Go ahead and twist, looking over that right shoulder. Right arm comes up nice and high to the sky. The hand may be on a straight leg, or maybe it's on the floor. Go ahead, bend that left knee lots and lots. Noticing your spatial awareness. Where is your arm? Is it straight to the ceiling? Having control of the body awareness is something else we can pick up in yoga. Lots of good skills. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release. Now completely relax and forward fold. Bend your knees a little bit. There's a little soft bend here, so we're not locking them straight. Little bit of a bend. We can have our hands touch the floor, grab our legs, or hold ragdoll. Ragdoll is hands on our elbows, like you're crossing. Maybe you're just relaxing with your arms crossed. It's a nice way to hold it in ragdoll. Gives them somewhere to be. Notice yourself melting. So if you were picturing your exhale like lava when we were meditating at the beginning of class, imagine your body heating up again and the lava with your exhale melting into the floor. One more big inhale. Exhale, relax the hands to the ground, step back with the knees, and sit over onto the hips, reaching those legs forward. Good. Let's sit up really nice and tall. If you have to move yourself or adjust on your mat, doing so now. We just want to be comfortable on the floor always, lowering the space around you and what's happening. From this position, we're going to take our right knee and draw it up. We can take the foot and it can stay beside the knee, or it can come on the outside of the left leg. Now as we sit up really nice and tall, keeping our back flat, imagine a wall behind us. I want us to take our right hand behind us as we hug the knee with our left arm. And now every time we take an inhale, we get taller. Exhale, we twist. Notice how my back is staying straight. What we don't want is to round. Because if we're rounding and pulling, what are we actually stretching? We're not accomplishing anything. And in yoga, we want to be safe and effective. So again, we stay up really nice and tall. Someone's got a hold of our hair, and then we're just pulling gently. Every inhale, we get taller. Every exhale, we slightly twist. Notice your shoulders. Have they rounded at all, or are they staying pulled back? Always working on posture. Helps us with our breathing, helps us just reduce that neck and shoulder tension. One more adjustment here. Taking that last big inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Finding ourselves coming back. Now I'm feeling a lot through my upper back, so that's really what we want to pay attention to. Roll those shoulders, sit up nice and tall. Tuck the chin in a little bit. Drawing the left knee up. Now, do we prefer to have it just on the floor here, or do we like crossing it over the other leg? As long as the foot's flat on the floor and then pointing straight up to the ceiling. Sit up really, really tall. Left hand behind us. Right elbow gives it a hug. We inhale, lift up. Exhale, slightly twist. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slightly twist more. Now we're only moving a little bit. Keep that right elbow hugging the knee. Keep the shoulders drawing together in the back, the collar open. One more adjustment. Big inhale. And exhale, relax. Oh my goodness, it feels amazing. All right, taking ourselves all the way down to the floor for a couple of final stretches. We're going to polish off our hips and shoulders. So we roll ourselves down. Again, if you need to, go ahead and find the position on the mat that's going to be best for us today. And as we're down here, we're going to prepare for a wheel. With our feet tucked in nice and close to our body, we take our hands and draw them up beside our ears. So if anyone has long hair, just make sure you get your hair out of your way so you're not putting your hands on it. So hands come right beside the ears, fingers towards the shoulders, heels of the hands away. Elbows are almost hugging our head, pointing straight up to the sky. Lock those feet in, and I want you to start applying pressure to the floor as we lift our hips up into bridge, and then our shoulders might come off the ground, our head might come off the ground. I want you to try to keep your knees around that imaginary ball, a little bit of tension, belly buttons up to the ceiling. Now, maybe today we don't get off the back. That's okay. This is a huge stretch. I want you to play with it a little bit, find out what you're comfortable with. For anyone who is up there, go ahead and just draw the head down, slowly rolling through the body, making sure we never crash out of a pose. We always come out of the pose in a controlled way. So if everyone wants to join me now on the ground, we hug our knees into our chest. Oh, this gratitude hug right here, knees to chest, thanking yourself for all of that amazing attention to our hips and shoulders today. Rocking side to side. We have one more stretch that we're going to do is coming into dead bug, or also known as happy baby. I like happy baby. Makes us all think of just relaxing, super simple times of just being able to be happy here. So how we do it is we start by taking our feet up towards the sky. Imagine you're a baby laying on your back and your feet are pointing straight up to the sky. You're gonna take your peace fingers, like hello, peace, peace world. Take them together, wrap them around your big toes. And if you can't reach your big toes today, that's okay. Just hold your hands behind your knees instead. It's a really good place to be as well. Now, keeping your feet up to the ceiling, imagine you've got paint on the bottom of your feet and they have to keep pressing up to the ceiling, putting paint on the ceiling. Keeping your knees lots and lots bent, let the legs open. So you've still got your footprints right up to the ceiling. If there was a mirror on the ceiling, you would see the whole bottom of your foot. And then we've opened up our legs, bending them. And I've actually attached my elbows to the inside of my knees just to add a little bit of extra tension. I'm going to do this to the front as well in case anyone just needs one more view. So you've got your feet up to the ceiling, peace fingers hook around your big toes or hands around the thighs. And then as you bend the knees, pointing the feet up to the ceiling, you hold. Hold that for just a couple of more breaths. Notice if you can get a little bit wider, a little bit deeper. It's an amazing stretch for those inner thighs. Helping the legs together. Relax the legs down all the way. Legs are straight. Our last stretch will be our spinal twist on the ground. That was our last stretch with our legs up. Now our last stretch with our legs down. We have our arms out to the side. Go ahead and bring that right knee up with a big inhale. Exhale, lower the leg over to the left. Now try to keep the leg and the arm completely on the floor. I like to take my free hand onto my leg and then look over the straight right arm. Stretching all the way across the chest. Slow down your breathing. What do you feel? A couple nice big breaths. Good stuff. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale the left knee. Exhale, lowering to the right. And then look over that left arm. Trying to keep the shoulder on the ground, stretching all the way across the left side, maybe through the rib, or maybe because we're focusing on hips so much today, you're still feeling it in that top hip. Or perhaps because we were focusing on shoulders, you're feeling it in that shoulder. Just noticing what we see. Inhale, lift the knee up. And exhale, lower down. Just bringing our arms into our sides now. Perhaps some of us like having the hands on the belly. And if you do, I encourage right hand on the stomach, left hand on the heart. That way you can feel your heart beating. You can feel your stomach rising and deflating with each breath we take. Or my personal favorite, arms down on the ground, nice and heavy, palms ready to catch those raindrops. Let the feet fall wide, the toes relax. Nose is pointing straight up to the sky. Our eyes are closed. Relax our lips. Let the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Focusing on our breathing. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Very relaxing two-part breath. Noticing our body becoming more relaxed. If we're finding it hard or difficult to stay focused, stay present, bring our breathing practice back to the color. Inhale, imagine the color that's filling our lungs. On the exhale, really picture the color of our breath or of that molten lava melting underneath of us and surrounding our body. Imagine what that would feel like, the warmth sinking lower and lower into our mat. Just a couple of more breaths. So we really allow our mind to free, to become more open, more accepting. And as we breathe slower and slower, we bring our heart rate down, slowing those racing thoughts, becoming calmer. And with that calmness, we can feel more content, more at peace, less stress. And I'd like us to slowly wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers, rolling our hands, rolling our feet, little circular motions. Again, let's encourage that blood flow and circulation all the way through the fingers and toes. And as we gather our knees into our chest, we give them one final big hug, thanking ourselves for taking the time out of our very busy schedules to really focus on our mental health, our physical well-being, and our spiritual health as well, whether that's emotional or whatever that may be today. Go ahead and roll over onto our sides as we slowly take ourselves up to sitting. Sitting, we're in our seated position, whether that's crisscross, easy seated pose, one foot up into half lotus, or both feet up in our full lotus position. Now I'd like everyone to take the shoulders down. Hands are resting on the knees comfortably as we take our final stretch, seated this time, for our next stretch, fine-tuning those shoulders. We sit up really tall, take the right ear over towards the right shoulder. We can use that left hand and press it away. Feeling that length coming all the way down the left side. Now go ahead and draw the chin down, reaching the arm back behind us just a little bit. And then from the middle, shoulder roll if we need to. Go ahead and take the left ear over to the left shoulder. Feel free to press the right arm if we need a little bit more. Feeling really nice little pull happening down the shoulder, maybe even into the arm. Tuck the chin a little bit more. We can reach the arm back slightly. And relax that. Again, just a couple of shoulder rolls, any lingering tension that we might be feeling. I'd like to thank everyone very much for our practice today. It was wonderful.